Hey guys, and welcome to Ozzie Reviews, and welcome to May Q A. Now, what's new at Ozzie Reviews, apart from all the work we've been doing here on the farm, guys? I've got another Steyr review coming out in 308 in more of a long range setup, so keep an eye out for that one. You'll really enjoy that one. And I've got even a new ATV coming, so it's on its way, and it should hopefully get done in the month of June. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. Now, what I'll start off with is multiple questions on the same topic that I got this month, okay, from Patreon people message me privately, also people commenting publicly on the review and on Facebook, etc. And that's about the Oceania Precision review, okay, the SP15. Now, there's a lot of misinformation about that, and disappointed with a lot of people who seem to suggest that you know, I've gone out of my way to make that rifle somehow look bad. Yeah, I really don't get that, because anyone who's been following my channel for quite some time will know it doesn't matter what brand it is, it doesn't matter what manufacturer it is, you know, I show the rifle exactly as it performs for me at the time, and I give you my personal viewpoint on that particular product. I don't suggest, you know, you don't go out and buy it. You do whatever you want, as I even said on that review. You can go and do what you want, buy what you want. All I'm doing as part of my reviews, and this is my business, and that's giving my own independent viewpoint on a product. Without all the swearing, without all the carrying on like a child, all the rest of it, just showing you exactly how the product performs for me at the time. And that's what I've built my credibility on over the years, is the fact that I do show that regardless of what company I'm dealing with, regardless of how many times that particular brand has been fantastic in the past or whatever. I just simply give you my viewpoint on it. I'm not saying you have to even agree with my viewpoint. It's my viewpoint, and that's what the channel is built on. So what I'll do, guys, is let's talk about the review. If you haven't seen that review, in a nutshell, what happened is that rifle came to me as a brand new rifle. It was sighted in, the barrel was even run in correctly, the whole lot. It was clean, it was reviewed, and even part of the review, I cleaned it again, let it cool right down, because I had a number of problems with factory semi-spec ammunition not cycling in that rifle. Okay, now this is a brand new rifle that's been purchased. So you can make up your own mind about that. There'll be people that'll sit on both sides of the fence, and that's fine. But for me personally, yeah, I think and believe that that rifle at that price point should cycle a lot of semi-spec factory ammunition, and that doesn't change. I don't care how much of a match chamber is on it. I mean, there's plenty of bolt guns out there with match chambers that cycle a lot of different ammunition. A lot of factory ammunition I'm talking about, okay? So on that point though, yeah, I do apologise about the price point. Initially I was told 4,300 there for the Ambi one, but it's not, it's $4,045, okay? So yeah, happily wear that on the chin. I haven't been contacted by Oceania, which once again is pretty disappointing, because most manufacturers, if they're unhappy with the review, or they want to follow up with it, usually they get in touch with me and say, mate, hey, look, we want to rectify this and talk about what the problems are and all the rest of it. You know, when in my reviews, guys, do I swear and carry on like a complete idiot? You know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, where do I not look at something analytically and pick out positives and negatives? Okay, so this general group think that I've somehow gone out of my way to make Oceania look bad. Seriously, where? Like, refer to the review and listen to what I said in the review. I talked about the good points. I talked about how lovely the trigger is. You know, that's an option for people to be able to purchase if they've got a Warwick Arms or even an AR of their own, because obviously people who have an AR of their own in this country understand how much red tape there is, in my view, with importing, okay, and that includes triggers. So having something made here, absolutely fantastic. Even in the intro of that video, you know, I even said a couple extra bonus points because it's an Australian manufacturer, and that's fantastic to see. So that doesn't really sound like someone who's going out of their way to, you know, make a product look bad. What people don't understand about my reviews is So many people find it hard to be independent. They don't have the mental capacity to actually shut off from all outside influences and honestly show you a product how it performs, because obviously friendships and all those sort of things come into it. Well, that doesn't with me. Okay, I could have a company who is quite positive and supportive of me and all the rest of it, but if I then go and get a product that is commercially available to customers and sold to the public as that, and it doesn't perform, then I just show you exactly how it doesn't perform. Okay, now I understand Oceania being defensive. Sure, look, I get that, but you know, you've got to understand as well that this is my business, and my business is completing independent reviews. If I got a product and every product that didn't function up to my personal standard, and then I went back to the manufacturer to make it look all silky smooth for the review, then every single review would be completely positive without any likes or dislikes. You know, it would be just likes, wouldn't it? Okay, so you know, if people want my channel to be like that, please stop watching my channel, because that's not what it's about. I've not been contacted by Oceania. Not one single email over this since the review was released. No explanation. All I can go off is what they put on their Facebook page, okay, which talks about a significant amount of lead and fouling, okay, that's caused that jam. Now, from what I'm told as well, the rifle had to be polished. The barrel had to go back to Swan for a polish, and the chamber rectified there to be able to feed ammunition. Okay, so it's not my job to do R&D or armourer work for a company. Now, I'm simply a person who reviews firearms, and I'll give you my honest viewpoint, as I said. So to me, that just simply shows, as I said in the review, I was hoping that it'll just be a quick fix. You know, I think I posted that when I posted the review on Facebook there. Hopefully it's just this one particular rifle, and it'll be a quick fix. And you know, it seems to be there is a fix for it. There was obviously a fault, and it's been rectified. So fantastic. You know, keep manufacturing, keep selling the product, and people who are interested in that, keep buying it by all means. But for me personally, guys, like, I do personally feel disappointed that if I had gone into a shop, paid $4,000 for a brand new rifle, and then I've got to watch, if I put, you know, 50 or 60 rounds through it, I've then got to clean it and everything because there's a risk of jamming. Well, what's going to happen if I go out west and I'm shooting pigs with that rifle? I mean, like, what am I supposed to, like, break it down every 60 rounds? I'm asking the question. Or am I supposed to just use reloads? Very interestingly, I actually got a message from a guy who watches my channel, and he sent me a video. Now, I won't play it because I don't want to throw more fuel on the fire. However, he has a SP25 and nothing but jams, and he said it had to go back. The barrel had to have a polish job on it there, and now it works fine. Fantastic news. So what does that come down to, and what does that say to you? So have I showed you anything that's made up? No, because if all it required was a clean, then in the later half of that review, when I did clean it and left it a couple of hours using the correct AR cleaning tools, then why didn't it just function perfectly? So that rifle then, when it went back to the manufacturer, you know, only had a handful of rounds put through it, as shown after I cleaned it in that review. So if a rifle has that much fouling and that much problem with sticking from a limited amount of rounds, yeah, that's disappointing to me for that price point. Okay, so yeah, I stick by that. That's my personal viewpoint on it. So I hope that really answers a lot of questions there, guys. Now, I'm not saying that every rifle's going to be like that. I can't speak for every rifle, but yeah, there's certainly a follower on my channel that's had that same problem with their SP25, and I obviously had that problem with that brand new firearm that I reviewed. But it's now been rectified and it's working, so that's fantastic. Okay, but I haven't been approached about doing a follow-up, nothing like that. But I'm more than happy to talk about it and discuss it. The childish behaviour is, yeah, really disappointing, to be honest, with a lot of people. And, you know, and then instead of coming to me and having a chat, you know, there's all these comments like online and everything. And yeah, I mean, what would people suggest I do? Just cover everything up so that nobody ever gets the truth of how a product actually performs for me at the time. So that Oceania review was exactly how that rifle performed for me at the time. And I did everything I could to try to get that firearm to be able to work correctly. Okay, without pulling it down and actually doing polish jobs myself and actual armory work on it, I'm not going to do that because that's not my role, that's not my job, okay? My job is to get a commercially available product and simply review it and give you my viewpoint on it. I'm not part of some prototype testing, nor am I part of any company's payroll. So it's not my job to iron out issues with products that I'm reviewing. My job is to simply review the product and give you an honest feedback and viewpoint on it, okay? As I said, there's a lot of things on that rifle that I do quite like. But yes, it obviously needed some work to function correctly. Because for me, once again, my personal viewpoint, guys, if I'm paying $4,000 for a rifle and I can't use factory semi-spec ammunition, then yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. So I stick by that, okay? So I hope that really clears that one up. Now, next question I got here is from Ben. He says, "G'day Ozzie, I've got a Browning T-bolt and looking to put a bipod on it, but I don't want to spend too much. Can you please recommend a decent quality bipod under $100? Mate, it's really hard because, you know, I always go for a Harris as a bare minimum. You know, Atlas is fantastic, but, you know, you're really paying, you know, for that quality. I don't personally like bipods that are made in China. I just don't. I've had friends with them as well, and they've actually bragged. And I had one friend, it was really funny. We were having a shoot there one day, and he had like a Chinese copy, very similar to a Harris. And he said to me, he said, "Mate, you know, like, look at this, it just works perfectly." And as he folded down one of the legs, it snapped off right in front of me, you know, and I just shook my head and I've gone, I rest my case. And I just went about doing my shooting. So mate, I can't personally advise you other than, honestly, spend another $50. I know like Cleavers have, you know, some basic Harris bipods there on sale for like $150 something. Seriously, that would be my advice, to go that way, because they're made in the USA, they're made right. I've had them for years and they're just a really good bipod, and you know, you won't be sorry. So try to just stretch that out a bit would be my advice on it. Next question I got here is from Stan. He says, "Hi Ozzie, love your work, mate. I'm looking to purchase a 1.7 HMR and I'm looking at the Lithgow LA 101, CZ457 and the Sako Finnfire 2. What are your thoughts? Cheers, mate." Well, first of all, I'd say, Stan, like, what's your purpose? Are you looking at having one, you know, just basically for out the range? Are you going to be using it mainly off the bench? Because obviously then I'd probably suggest, you know, going to like a varmint setup. Okay, so, you know, something that weighs a little bit like the Lithgow, it does. You can get the varmint in the CZ 457. You know, or do you want something that's lightweight? So if you want something that's lightweight, perhaps you might get some of the lighter weight models of the CZ 457. So that's probably my first question to you. So if you're going to do a combination and you're going to find that you're going to be walking around or simply going onto, you know, private rural land and having a shoot, you know, and you're shooting from the shoulder fairly regularly, well, I'd probably try to keep it lightweight, in which case the CZ is a really good rifle, that's for sure. The Sako as well, yep, also very nice. You'll just have to look at the price points and see what you want to spend. But either of those three rifles you mentioned, you know, are good rifles and have their pluses and minuses depending on what your actual use is. So yeah, I'd probably need just a little bit more information with that one, mate. But yeah, I would look at it through those sort of specs. Are you going to be walking around with it a fair bit and shooting off the shoulder? If so, keep it lightweight, because with some of the heavier setups, honestly, after you shoot like 20 odd rounds, you're going to start feeling it. You just go, geez, this is starting to get a bit of weight in it now. You know, and it shortens your shooting enjoyment off the shoulder, put it that way, because you can no longer do it. It just wears you out and a lot quicker than what it would if you had a lighter rifle. So yeah, let me know how you go. Now the next question, I've actually got this from a few people, and it's actually not firearm related, it's boot related. And I thought I'd address it in this Q&A, guys, because the amount of messages that I've had over this, just from general viewers as well, and people talking about it just in private messages, is about Dana boots, where to buy them, the quality, all that sort of thing. Now, with Dana, I mean, that was one of my first reviews. If you have a look at Dana Arcadia boots, I mean, one of my very first reviews. I mean, I had an iPhone 4, I think it was, and I was just had it like held over the boots and stuff like that, and talking about it. So it was, yeah, that was a long time ago. But you know, those desert tan boots from that review, I still have them to this day. Tread on them is fantastic. You know, the boot has held up. It's just an awesome boot. Now, the advice that I will give with that is, like a lot of companies, to be competitive, they have started to manufacture offshore, you know, so China and places like that. Now, with Dana boots, if they're American made, from what I can see there, they'll have a little tag, a little coloured American flag tag on the boot, okay, so you know it's made in the US. Also go to you know, Dana's website, and you can clearly see there which ones are and are not made in the US. So another way you can get round you know, getting some proper US made Danas but at the right price is if you go to ebay.com, so not the Australian eBay but the US eBay, and have a look there, put in like you know, USMC, so US Marine Corps Dana, and you'll have all these boots come up that have been issued to Marines, and all it is on the back near the sole there, they've got basically the USMC logo engraved into it. It's only very subdued, but at the end of the day, if you want some really good quality boots, and you can get them really cheap, because you'll see that, like you know, Marines or ex-Marines will sell off boots, sometimes brand new, sometimes very, very little use, and you know, they're the real deal. They're the made in the USA Danas, because I believe those Desert Tan Arcadias are no longer available, which is really unfortunate to see. So, yeah, so with that, definitely I would be looking at ebay.com and see what you can actually get in from the States, because you can find some really good deals. You know, there are other resellers here in Australia too. Just do a search, and you know, some of them will come up as well. But yeah, if you want some of those boots that just are not available here in Australia, that's the way to do it. Next question I got here is from Steve, and he says, hey Ozzy, I was just wondering, I'm recently got into a CZ22 Magnum. I want to know what you think on ammo selection, because I want to use it mainly for hunting. I want to be able to shoot some rabbits. I also want to be able to take some pigs within certain sizes. What ammunition should I be using, and what should I be looking for? Well, mate, look, it's probably a bit of a big call with a 22 Magnum on a pig, you know, unless it's correct shot placement and the correct distance. And I say that because, you know, if you're going to shoot them at 100 and something yards away, like, yeah, there's probably a good chance that you're not going to have that suitable penetration to make an ethical kill. Okay, so yeah, so you need to look at that, and also too, the type of ammunition. Now, there's various different types of ammunition with 22 Magnum, so I definitely wouldn't be recommending something that's going to open very quickly, like the Hornady VMAX 30 grain. That is too light if you want to be able to like take some small pigs and stuff like that. Okay, I'd probably recommend like the Federal 50 grain hollow point ammunition. Like, that has some very deep controlled expansion. You know, for a 22 Magnum, it's just absolutely brilliant, and I use it fairly regularly here on the farm. As for you know, rabbits there, you can use those 30 grainers, but what I find is when you start getting out to a little bit of distance, and obviously the speed or the velocity of that projectile drops off, you might not have the expansion, you know, that you'll see at like 30 or 50 yards, say, you know, for example. So I would go for just a good, decent hollow point. Those 50 grainers retain some excellent energy. So give them a try, see how it shoots in your rifle. And there's various other ones out there. You can even just go with the standard like 40 grain hollow points, you know, Winchester, CCI, Federal, you know, there's so many of them that make ammunition, you know, in that bullet weight. There's also a new one there from CCI. I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but it's a 46 grain segmented hollow point. And on paper, it looks really impressive. So, you know, you might want to try to pick up a box of them, just see how it shoots through your rifle, and then obviously go out and try it on game. But like, keep me informed, mate. I'd really like to know how you go with that, because I love the 22 Magnum. It's just a great little cartridge overall. All right, guys, that concludes this month's Q&A. Really thank you for all the questions, and I hope I've cleared up a lot of things, especially with the Oceania Precision review. So keep an eye out for the new reviews, and until next time, we'll catch you then.